that much of what you think you know about Cleopatra's final days is completely wrong. The famous Queen of Egypt, known for her charm, political cunning, and tragic end, has been a subject of fascination for centuries. But have we been fed a romanticized version of her story that hides darker truths? In this video, we're going to reveal the untold details of Cleopatra's last moments, things that history textbooks often leave out. Was Cleopatra's death really the result of a tragic love affair gone wrong? Or was there something far more calculated behind her final actions? And most importantly, how much of what we've been told about her is true? If you're curious to uncover the truth behind the legend of Cleopatra, stick around till the end. You won't believe some of the hidden details that we've unearthed about one of the most powerful women in history. And before we get started, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel, because trust me, you won't want to miss the rest of this journey through Cleopatra's final days. Cleopatra is often remembered as the captivating queen who used her beauty and charm to win the favor of two of Rome's most powerful men, Julius Caesar and Mark Antony. But what if Cleopatra was more than just a romantic figure? What if her alliances were part of a masterful political strategy designed to secure Egypt's future? Cleopatra knew that Egypt stood in the shadow of Rome's growing empire, and she understood that to survive, she needed powerful allies. Her relationship with Julius Caesar wasn't just about passion, it was a calculated move to align Egypt with the most influential figure in the Roman world. This alliance gave Egypt the protection it needed to maintain independence, at least for a while. Then came Mark Antony. While their love affair has been immortalized as one of history's greatest romances, it's important to recognize the political undercurrents. Antony had control over the eastern provinces of Rome, which made him a critical ally for Cleopatra. By aligning herself with Antony, Cleopatra was attempting to keep Egypt independent from the overwhelming power of Octavian, Caesar's adopted son and the future Augustus. But did Cleopatra truly love Mark Antony, or was it just another strategic move? Historians debate this question. Some believe Cleopatra's feelings were genuine, while others argue that she was simply playing a dangerous political game. What we do know is that Cleopatra's ultimate goal was always the survival of her kingdom. She was not just a lover or a queen. She was a shrewd politician who used every tool at her disposal, including her relationships, to maintain her power. Despite her best efforts, Cleopatra's strategy began to fall apart as the power struggle between Antony and Octavian reached its peak. Octavian was determined to eliminate Antony, and by extension Cleopatra, to consolidate his control over Rome. The infamous Battle of Actium was the turning point. Antony and Cleopatra's forces were decisively defeated by Octavian's navy in 31 BCE. With their military power shattered, Antony and Cleopatra retreated to Egypt, where they made one last stand. But Cleopatra was not one to go down without a fight. Even in the face of overwhelming odds, Cleopatra attempted to negotiate with Octavian. She tried to use her considerable wealth and influence to cut a deal that would allow her to retain some form of power, or at least secure the safety of her children. Cleopatra's desperation in these final moments shows her resilience and her unyielding commitment to her kingdom. But it was too late. Octavian wasn't interested in negotiations. He wanted total victory. As Cleopatra's world crumbled around her, she made preparations for her final act. Knowing that Octavian would likely parade her through the streets of Rome as a war trophy, Cleopatra resolved to meet her end on her own terms. But how did she die? That's where the story takes a fascinating twist. Myths versus reality, Cleopatra's death. The story of Cleopatra's death is perhaps the most famous part of her life, yet it is also the most shrouded in myth. For centuries, we've been told that Cleopatra died by allowing a venomous snake, likely an asp, to bite her. This dramatic and poetic version of events fits neatly with the image of Cleopatra as a tragic, doomed figure. But was that really how she met her end? There are many reasons to doubt the snakebite story. For one, ancient sources conflict on the details. Some suggest that Cleopatra used a poisoned comb to take her own life, while others argue that she ingested poison. The idea of a snakebite might have been a piece of Roman propaganda, designed to paint Cleopatra as a dangerous and exotic figure, someone who lived and died in a dramatic, theatrical fashion. More recently, historians have proposed that Cleopatra's death might not have been entirely her choice. Could it be that Octavian had a hand in her demise? After all, Cleopatra was a symbol of resistance to Roman domination, and her death conveniently removed the last obstacle to Egypt becoming a Roman province. While we may never know the full truth, it's clear that Cleopatra's death, like much of her life, was shaped by political intrigue and myth-making. Cleopatra's legacy has been shaped as much by myth as by reality. Over the centuries, she has been portrayed as everything from a cunning seductress to a tragic heroine. But one thing is clear: she was a ruler who fought fiercely to protect her kingdom, using every tool at her disposal, whether it was diplomacy, war, or alliances. Her story has been retold in countless ways, but the true Cleopatra remains elusive, buried beneath layers of historical bias and Roman propaganda. In the end, Cleopatra's legacy is not just one of romance or tragedy, it's a testament to her political savvy, her determination, and her ability to navigate a world dominated by powerful men. As we wrap up, consider this. How different would history remember Cleopatra if her story had been written by Egyptians instead of Romans? And how much of what we know about her is shaped by the narratives of her enemies? If you enjoyed this deeper look into Cleopatra's final days, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Let's keep exploring the untold stories of history's most fascinating figures together.